and then you can do the whole adding thing. So there's one mafia, one arsonist, one witch. That's 3 people. So just these 3 people. Just assuming that these 3 people would be it. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 townies. So the town can still outvote the rest. But if there's more mafia than town, then the mafia can just outvote the town and it's game. So you always want to be careful of that, and you want to try and get the mafia out as quickly as possible. Brown is trying to claim jailer. Or purple, pink. This guy, I say brown because of his name. Alright, so they called him Inno. They're going to give him 1 night to prove his innocence. He said that he would jail somebody tonight. So if somebody isn't jailed tonight, then they'll probably get him tomorrow.
You should name him OJ.
Hmm?
You should name your guy OJ. Orange juice.
No.
Make your name black.
If I had enough points, but I don't have enough points. In fact, I have 0 points. He does that. He'll update the game, and then your points will get reset, which is a real shame. But most of the time, your points don't get reset. It's just recently that he's been resetting it because he's been making a few bigger changes with it, with how the game works and such. But yeah, once you're dead, it's more or less just a waiting game like this, which is rather unfortunate. I think I've really explained everything. I make the game sound more complicated than it really is. It's a really simple game. It's just there's a lot of different roles, and once you get the hang of what each role does,
It's like playing chess.
it's really simple. Yeah, it's like playing chess. Once you figure out what each piece does, it's a piece of cake. But before that, you're like, well, how come he can move sideways? How come he can skip a space? Why is the pawn only moving 1 and that one can move 2?
I feel like pawns is fat people. 'Cause the first time they move, they can move 2.
Yeah. Okay, so he's dead, and what is his role? He was a spy.
A spy for who?
Okay. For the town. Spies are for the town. Okay, so they just found out that Half-Man is indeed Mafia because of the Death Note that actually said that he wasn't jailed. So that's where Death Notes can come in handy, by giving out the needed information. So there's still 3 non-townies, and there's 5 townies. If the townies kill the Mafia, then the game is pretty much in the bag, because the witch can't really do much.
Sure she
Not really, because Half-Man should be the last Mafia.
should be.
Should be. He's either he's either an advanced neutral, or he's the Mafia. I highly doubt he's the witch. I think he's the Mafia, though. But either way, they'll kill him, and then there will be 2 non-townies that they have to take care of, and they should be able to figure it out. I hope they figure it out.
There's a card game that does something just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually a lot of people do this in real life, where they get a group of friends, and I'd actually have fun with this if I could do this in real life. They get a nice large group of friends, and each person will take a roll from the hat or whatever, and they'll keep away from each other. And it's the same thing, where you know your role, and you're allowed to do one thing during the night scene, and they'll do that, and it's just this game in real life. So the jailer would, like, put on a mask or something and have the person walk over with them and have them turn around so they couldn't see their face. Right. Something like that. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of like playing Clue in real life.
TV boxes?
but a little more complicated. TV boxes.
Like,
Yeah. Let's buy like 20 large TVs so we can use the boxes. That'd be great. What do you want with the TVs? Oh, you can just throw that crap away. Yeah, he chose a more glamorous death. With more points, you can actually choose your own death. He chose a nice, fiery one.
Who would choose that?
Oh, it's better than getting hung. So yeah, I was right. He was Mafia. Which means there's one witch and one neutral. And we don't know what the neutral is. But we do know that there is a witch, and they will most likely find it. Because the sheriff, there's a sheriff in this game, and he's not over here in the graveyard. So there's a sheriff who is alive who can figure that out. And hopefully one of the town is investigator, which the investigators give what their possible role is. So, for example, investigator will investigate someone, and it'll pop up saying that that person has knives. They can be a doctor or a serial killer.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, but at least you can narrow it down. I mean, you know it's going to come up. It's either a town roll or a killing roll. He's trolling the game. It's hilarious. But what was I saying? Investigator, yes, and the knives thing. So, even though you don't know the exact role, you know that they are either a doctor or a serial killer. And if you know that the doctor's dead, then there's less of a chance that they could be the doctor.
Or none.
Right, and then you can also see there's other roles that can check someone and see who they visit. Detective, I think, is allowed to check one person each night and see who that person visits. So the detective could check that person and notice that they visited the person who was just killed. That means they're a serial killer. Or if he checked him and noticed that he visited someone who was attacked and is still alive, then they know he's a doctor. So at least you can narrow it down. So you can say they're either a doctor or a serial killer. They're not a sheriff or investigator. They can't claim one of those.
Passed out or something. Just laid down and was out.
So supposedly one of them claims witch, but they're saying that he could be an executioner. When the jester fails to have his target, excuse me, they're claiming that he's jester, because when an executioner fails to have his target lynched, then he becomes a jester.
What?
So he's possibly a jester. He's either a witch or a jester. I'm thinking he's a jester, though. Jesters are one of the more harder things to do because you're trying to get lynched. And people catch on to that fact, and they're like, okay, he's trying way too hard to get himself killed, so there's no way he's a good person. Yeah, but then you also run the risk of getting killed at night, and then you don't win at all.
You can be like, hey, I'm Mafia.
Yeah. But that doesn't work either, because that's way too obvious. And then they'll say, no, and then they'll investigate. Well, he was just stupid. I don't know why he admitted that. All he had to do was give me a bullshit role, and I would have let him live. Yeah, I see, he was a jester. But he claimed Godfather. He claimed Godfather for some strange reason.
So is it a bad thing to get the jester lynched?
What?
I mean, there's no positive or negative effect for anyone else.
I didn't hear what you said.
The jester lynched.
Oh, there is a negative.
What was the negative?
This is why they try not to lynch the jester. When the jester gets lynched, everyone who voted guilty, one of them is going to die tonight by suicide. Their reasoning is that they couldn't bear the thought of having the jester killed. That's why they don't want to lynch the jester. The jester is frightening when you're trying to vote someone inno or guilty, because you're like, oh, they could be a jester, and if they're a jester and I vote guilty, then I could be the person who commits suicide. So,
Could just neutral.
yeah, I tend to not vote either way, because also with voting either way, if you vote guilty and the person's innocent, if you vote guilty on a person who's a townie and then they die, then they say, okay, everyone who voted guilty could be a mafia, and then you're just put on the spot. But if you put inno and then that person is mafia, then they say, okay, everyone who voted inno is most likely mafia. So if you tend to remain neutral, you'll live longer. That's actually a little tip I can give you guys, I guess. But just be aware. Just be aware of what's being said. Like in all these LOLs and OS and OJs, there is some information in there that will pop up.
Orange juice. What did you say?
I said, too bad your name is a proxy, because he was telling me I had to blur out his name. He told me to blur out his name for the video.
Why?
Because he's just trolling. And if he's serious, then he's like 12 years old. Yeah, I told them welcome to YouTube. I gotta do something to pass the time while I'm sitting here dead explaining this game. Oh, Derpy is so adorable. I think I mentioned this earlier, but Derpy is a kitten. And she is adorable.
I'm gonna put a picture at the end of the video.
But once you become a real cat, like no longer a kitten, I'm probably gonna lose my love for you. I don't like cats. Because cats are like, oh, feed me, bitch. And I'm like, fuck you, cat. Dogs...
Feed me, bitch.
No, dogs are loving. They'll sit there and say, please feed me. But the cat fucking expects you to, and then they'll claw you. The dog will just sit there and be like, please feed me, please feed me, please feed me. Well, your dog is just fucking weird. It barks at everything. Alright, so let's see who won. Most likely the town, I think.
Derpy.
Yep.
You're all in the bed.
So you see, the town has won. I was a townie, and you'll notice that I actually get points, even though I'm dead. I got bonus points for winning with this role as the first time, which is good. And here I am, Reaper, 25 points, because we won. If you lost, you still get points. He got 11, he got 10, he got 8. You still get points even if you lose. And that concludes this. You just click on victory and you can quit. That's the end of the game. You can join another one, etc. and keep going. Try and get all the different roles. It's a lot of fun, and it actually makes you think. It's a nice little break from the regular gameplay of 3v3s or 1v1s, you know, of Zergling rushes and all that crap. It's nice to take a break and just play a nice, relaxing game. And this is one of the games that you don't have to necessarily pay a lot of attention to. It's just little typing, read, and trying to figure out who's who. It's not hotkeys and all that craziness. So, that concludes our session of Starcraft Spotlight tonight. Stay tuned for the next one.